Hey 302, I'm Jackie Ferris. It's about the time of year when people start thinking of how they can give back. But because of COVID-19, volunteers are needed now more than ever. Even so, volunteers are needed year-round. So we're going to introduce you to Volunteer Delaware and talk a little bit about how you can make a difference. Get ready to dig deep. The 302 is asking you to get involved. Hey 302, it's almost Thanksgiving and a lot of people are thinking about volunteering for soup kitchens and donating canned goods, but volunteerism is something that should be done year-round. We're joined by the folks from Volunteer Delaware to tell us a little bit about opportunities for folks to volunteer and why the need is greater than ever. I'm joined by Kanani Munford and also Suzanne Ferris, no relation. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Let's talk first of all, Kanani, if you could, tell us a little bit about the organization Volunteer Delaware.
Thank you so much. The State Office of Volunteerism is an entity that leads Volunteer Delaware, which is one of our 4 programs. And the mission of the State Office of Volunteerism is to make sure that we are the premier resource for volunteerism and national service in the state of Delaware and the region. We do that in a number of ways, and Volunteer Delaware is our premier focus. So with Volunteer Delaware, we have the Governor's Awards for outstanding volunteerism for adults and for youth. We also have every year we have a volunteerism conference. This year it was called Reimagining Volunteerism, and it focused on ways for us to get involved even with the pandemic going on. And Suzanne did a great job of leading that initiative. Also, we have the opportunity to provide resources to those serving our volunteers across the state. So we serve as a facilitator, and we also make sure that this does not work without collaboration. So we are in partnership with our volunteer administrators across the state to make sure we are giving them the resources they need to train and engage volunteers, to make sure the work that is being done is meaningful and that is impactful.
So if someone's watching this and they think to themselves, hey, it's Thanksgiving, I want to get involved, volunteerism is something that you need around the calendar. So talk to me a little bit about the kinds of opportunities that are out there.
Yes, so volunteerism is needed all year round. There's not a day goes by that we don't need volunteers to get involved. We encourage people to turn their passion into action. So anything you can think of to volunteer would be needed. Right now, we have some individuals that are helping with virtual opportunities for youth that need support in school. So that's something that can be done. We also have volunteers that are helping with disasters. We also have volunteers that are helping you mentioned soup kitchens. That's something that's happening all the time. So the Emmanuel Dining Room is one of them. Sunday Breakfast Mission could be another one. Also, Nimble Fingers, as well as Careware. We have Ronald McDonald House is another place that people volunteer lots of times. We also have, if you're interested in bird rescue, one place that individuals can volunteer is our bird rescue. That's a bird rescue place. So there's a number of places for people to volunteer and get involved. Really, it's about what you're passionate about, and we like to connect you with those organizations that are doing the work in the community. So if you have time on your hands, then we can connect you with those opportunities to roll up your sleeves and get involved. And as you mentioned, it's not just Thanksgiving. It's not just the holiday season. We do see an increase in volunteerism during Thanksgiving, during the holiday season, but it's needed all year round. We know this is when people have warm hearts and they're excited to give back, but we need you all year round. You could be planting flowers outside a community center. You could be tutoring children. You could be someone who is going to help at a gala. So it can go from maintenance to a gala where you are the person that is helping with the silent auction. You could be the person that is leading a team of volunteers. So volunteerism, a few years back, the theme for our volunteer conference was about leadership and making sure that you elevate your volunteer leadership. So volunteer is a way not only for you to try something new, but also to hone and enhance those leadership skills. We have sometimes organizations contact us, they need board members. So it runs the gamut. It definitely runs the gamut. So we're excited about all the volunteerism that's being done across the state of Delaware and the region, but I will turn it over to Suzanne Ferris, who will give us more details about the website.
Yeah, you can tell us how people can get on the website and volunteer. 2020 has been a rough year. A lot of people have stayed home. 2021, people are ready to get out there and help. So tell us all about it.
Sure, so if you visit our website at volunteer.delaware.gov, we have numerous opportunities that are listed by organizations throughout the state. And with our new relaunch, we actually added a virtual only feature. So if you want to search for an opportunity and you're not yet comfortable going out and being around other people, you can click the virtual only button and find opportunities that are able to be done from your home or from other remote locations.
So when we talk about virtual opportunities, a lot of, as Kanani mentioned, a lot of places like the museums have to put together virtual exhibits, and maybe not all of the volunteers there know how to do that, or maybe they don't feel comfortable being on camera like you guys are and talking about things, or maybe it comes down to writing or just some kind of support staff. So it runs the gamut, right?
It absolutely does. No matter what your skill set or what skill set you're looking to use, you can find an opportunity to volunteer, or you can learn a new skill set. They're very happy to teach volunteers new skill sets and ways that they can use technology that's available to them. There really are opportunities for everyone.
Everyone, teens to seniors.
Absolutely, teens and even younger to seniors.
Alrighty, now the website, tell me one more time, the website address?
Volunteer.delaware.gov.
Okay, now when we come back, we're going to talk about the Governor's Awards. Now these are the superstars of the volunteers whose ranks you could join next year. You never know. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Loretta Spiegel. I'm with Rockland Mansion, and you're watching the 302.
Welcome back. We're talking about how volunteers are needed now more than ever, and it's not just a holiday thing. It's something that needs to be done year-round. Of course, we're joined by Volunteer Delaware Kanani Munford. We're also joined by one of the organizations who needs volunteers. This is Sharon Dounce. She is the captain at Kalmar Nickel. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to just touch base with Kanani first and talk about the superstars. There are some people who give their hearts and their souls, and they get recognized. Tell me about that.
Yes. So with volunteerism, it's very important that we recognize our superstars. Not only our superstars, but our unsung heroes. And at the State Office of Volunteerism, we do that through the Governor's Outstanding Volunteer Awards. This happens for adults as well as for the youth. With the adults, it's typically in the fall around October, and then for the youth, it happens in May. And so we have a lot of great people that are doing a lot of work in the state of Delaware, and we want to make sure that they're recognized. So in partnership with the Governor's Office, as well as the Division of State Service Centers, we make sure that we recognize people through the Governor's Awards. And so they get their picture taken with the governor, they go through, there's a selection process, and then they have a great event. Prior to the pandemic and COVID, we were in person. This year we will be recognizing them and announcing them virtually, and then in 2021 we'll be having a large celebration. Also with the Youth Awards, it's a fabulous event run by students. So there's a jazz band. We have, it usually happens down at Cape Henlopen High School, and so they have a culinary arts program, and they provide the dinner, and so it's all about the youth that night and making sure that they are recognized for their service in the community. And so we have Sharon here, and Sharon has the esteemed honor of working with not only youth that have received the Governor's Award, but also adults. So I'd love to hear more about your great volunteers and their recognition.
So, but before we do that, if you can just kind of tell us a little bit about Kalmar Nickel for someone who maybe isn't up to speed on your mission.
Yeah, the Kalmar Nickel is a recreation of a ship from the 1620s. It sailed here from Kalmar, Sweden in 1638. They came right here to Wilmington, Delaware, and they came to trade for beaver pelts. So they are a merchant ship. They made 4 round-trip crossings and established the colony of New Sweden right here in Wilmington. And this Kalmar Nickel is a newly built ship, and it's been sailing now for about 21, 22 years. And we are run by volunteer crew. We have only 4 paid officers on board the ship each year, and the rest of our crew, which sometimes is 24 people, is all volunteers.
So tell us about your volunteers who received the Governor's Award.
Yeah, well, we've had several groups of volunteers over the years that have been selected for the Governor's Service Award. And new this year, we had some of the Youth Service Award nominees get recognized. It was pretty exciting. So first, I'd like to start off with Tony Bosworth. He was the Paul Wilkinson Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
He got that last year, and that was wonderful for Tony. He's been volunteering here at the Kalmar Nickel since they launched the ship. He has been working on the ship as one of the helmsmen, the people that steer the ship. He has voyaged, he's done education programming for children. Tony has helped with maintenance. He's been on our board of trustees. He has done a lot of different types of work for the organization over the years. He was actually the head person on the site committee that made this dock come when we were rebuilding. So he has had many roles, and the Paul Wilkinson Award was really special to Tony because Kalmar Nickel is so near and dear to his heart. So that was a great honor for Tony and his family. And we're glad that we could be a part of that with you guys.
And yes, you mentioned the Paul Wilkinson Award, and so it was great because Paul Wilkinson was someone who served in the community for years, and so we use that to recognize lifetime volunteers. And so they have to amass a certain amount of hours before they can reach that level of recognition. So we're excited that you have one of our prestigious award recipients here at the Kalmar Nickel. And so I know you mentioned that you also have youth as well.
Yeah, this past summer, Julie DeMarco and Vincent Ricciardi are 2 youth that have sailed on the ship. They've done maintenance, but where they really provide a lot of support to us is when the ship goes voyaging. So when we leave port, we go to Virginia or we go to New England. The youngins have available time in the summer for a month at a time to come on board, and they provide the solid consistency as we go from year to year or from month to month. The youth are there to help out with things like setting sails, climbing all the way to the top of the mast where they get to fix flags and furl sails. It's great for us to have the young energetic folks. And these 2 particular youths are so interested in the maritime field that they're both going to a maritime academy this coming year.
So we're going to meet one of your volunteers coming up. We'll be right back.
Hi folks, I'm Captain Johan of the schooner AJ Meerwald. Please come sail away with the 302.
Welcome back. We are now on board the Kalmar Nickel with Captain Sharon and volunteer Gary Deschamps. Captain Sharon, let's talk a little bit about where we are and why you need volunteers to run this beautiful ship and this organization.
Well, we are on the main deck of the ship of the Kalmar Nickel, and we have mostly downrigged the ship for the fall. We're getting ready to put a greenhouse over the top of the ship to protect it from ice and snow over the winter. And any kind of labor like that takes many volunteers to help out with. So every January, we start a new group of volunteers to help us out with maintenance and also for sailing the ship. So when the season starts, we go underway with guests, and we have students on board, and we sail to other ports, and we go up and down the eastern seaboard, but we can only do that with volunteer support.
So if someone wants to be a volunteer, because this seems like an opportunity that is once in a lifetime, how do they become a volunteer? What do they have to do?
Well, right now, our next volunteer opportunity is our January crew training class. I am still working on the details about how this is going to be COVID safe. We're going to be doing small group hands-on opportunities and some Zoom style lectures that you'll do from home. So it's going to be a combination of in-person and electronic learning, and then at the end of the training we'll come together and have opportunity to do some practice sails.
Now, Gary, you're no stranger to this ship.
No.
You have gotten an interesting distinction that has gotten you something that will be forever a part of Kalmar Nickel's legacy. Talk to me about that.
I got finished out my 10,000 hours last spring, a year ago, in 2019, and got a carbine. It's on the stern of the ship now on the starboard side. And any of the volunteers that get 10,000 hours, we get a carbine made and gets attached to the back of the ship.
So how did you connect with Kalmar Nickel?
I was retired and sitting at home, and they had a big full-page ad. I had been on the boat with a girlfriend's grandson in the summer, and I saw an advertisement for it, taking volunteers, so I signed up. I had no idea what I was getting into.
So what was the first job that you had on the ship?
Scraping and sanding and penetraling like everyone else. I mean, everybody does that for the first year. Then I got into the rigging department and been doing that ever since.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is the department you're in now?
Rigging.
Rigging, okay.
We take care of all the lines and disassemble, reassemble any of the blocks that have to be repaired. Maintain all the standing rigging, the black lines. We maintain all the running rigging, which is the brown lines you see hanging around.
Now, did you have any experience in this kind of thing before?
Not on a ship, no. I was been an electrician, and I did some type of rigging for pulling large cables at GM and Chrysler and different jobs, but not anything compared to this.
So your fellow volunteers, they run the gamut, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about who they are.
Well, I worked with one was a professor at University of Delaware. He's the our head rigger. Another one is a engineer, worked for DP&L. Another one was a medical administration.
So just all walks of
all
life.
walks of life. We had a rocket scientist here for a while, and he got dropped out of the program a couple years back. He worked in rocket propulsion.
So when you're working on the rigging and, or painting or whatever the case may be, what goes through your mind?
I enjoy it. I enjoy the people I work with, everybody on the boat, the rigging department. It's just a small group of us that have been trained to do it. It takes several years to become a proficient rigger. And there's riggers that work up in the high tops, and then I work from the top, from the fighting tops down on the shrouds and then in the shop.
Well, I saw them, climbing up, and it's really very exciting. I mean, I would imagine after a while, it's,
Never gets boring.
Yeah.
Every day is different here. And if you go on a voyage every day, every watch that you're on is different.
What would you say to somebody who's at home, and whether it's coming out here to the ship or another volunteer organization, what would you say to them to kind of help, because we really need volunteers everywhere now.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
Get involved. I mean, it's no sense just sitting at home. If you're retired or if you have free time, fill it up with something to do.
Now, Captain Sharon, let's talk a little bit about the website, the process. What do we need to do if we want to join the crew?
Well, we have a website, kalmarnickel.org, and you can go on there and follow the tabs to the volunteer page, and you'll hear all the interesting ways you can help out, and we would love to have you. Like I said, our next class to join up is starting in January, so you can check that out, and usually it's about a 10-week commitment spread out through the winter into the spring months. and by the end of it, you'll be eligible to sail on board as a crew member.
Are there requirements like age or anything like that? Anything that?
The age requirement is you need to be 18 years old, or if you're 14 to 17 with a parent, you can do this. There's no upper age limit as long as you're physically able to go up and down stairs and keep guests safe on board.
All right. Thank you, Gary and Captain Sharon, for joining us. And we are going to be right back. For more information on how you can get involved, visit volunteer.delaware.gov. That'll do it for this week's episode. We leave you now with some aerial views of the shipyard. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. We'll see you on the 302.